It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Panther Tracks TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We're back after a short summer break with all your weekly Star Wars news all wrapped up in one show. First up, be sure to like content, and if you're not already, subscribe if you're on Facebook, YouTube, on Twitter. Make sure you catch the show every week. Your comments are much wanted, so make sure you comment to everything that we're talking about. We'll include the comments in the show. And what we're going to be talking about this week, let's check out this week's news. We're going to be talking Andor, that's now premiering on the 21st of September with 3 episodes. We'll check out the official trailer that arrived this week. Troy Gilroy's been doing the press rounds and he's been talking the absence of K2SO. We'll be discussing that. Oh, I've gone too far. Let me skip back. Technical issues straight away. And Ahsoka's also been in the news with the new cast members, giving us a little bit teasers on that. We'll be hearing from Natasha, who plays Sabine Wren. Cameron Monaghan has been talking about Cal Kestis from Fallen Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and whether he wants to go live action with that. Taron Egerton has been talking his audition for Han in Solo, a Star Wars Story. And we'll end the show by talking about Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, which came out on Disney Plus this week. And who will I be talking this through with? From fathertracks.com, Mr. Mark Newbold. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm very well, Brian. How are you?
Excellent. Good to see you back on the show after our short summer break. Good to be back talking everything Star Wars, which hasn't stopped in the past few weeks. It's been a pretty busy news-wise.
Yeah, it's been full on. The site's been busy. We've had loads going on. There's been a lot of podcasts. We've been very busy in the podcast world. There's one of our podcasters there, Carl. Hello, Carl. Going busy there. So all great guns. And yeah, like I say, loads of news and Andor stuff. And yeah, lots to tuck into.
Making tracks. You mentioned the podcast. Every episode out every week. We've got a show coming out this week. What's it going to be about?
Well, we've had a couple. We had an episode come last week, episode 145, with Sid Ragg and Joe Gibson. Today, about 2 hours ago, we had our summer vacation interview with Ken Cunningham and David Shane. Those guys. We had a Desert Planet Discs there with Mr. Carl and Greg Darth Elvis. That came out on Friday. We've got another episode out on Tuesday, 146. It's already in the can. Me and Mr. Mulcaster talking about all the latest news and normal kinds of nonsense and stuff. And then next Friday, it's Fantha Down Under with Adam from Australia. So loads going on over at Fantastic Radio.
So I think we should get stuck into the first article. And so we're talking Andor. It's now been announced that the premiere has been pushed back to the 21st of September. And instead of launching with 2 episodes, it's going to come out with 3. Your thoughts, first of all, Mark, on it getting pushed back by pretty much a month?
I get it. I don't know the specifics why. I would imagine that with Game of Thrones bringing their new House of the Dragon out, and with Lord of the Rings and Rings of Power coming out, and lots of other stuff, Marvel have got She-Hulk. It's a busy marketplace for Star Wars right now, and I think to push and promote and get the word out, give themselves that extra 3 weeks to do that is, if that's the logic, it might not be, but if that's the logic, then that's a sensible thing to do, because it could, like Solo did 4 years ago, could easily get lost in the mix. And that's ridiculous because it looks amazing. They've clearly spent a buttload of money on it. They've got a top-notch cast. It sounds fantastic. I know we'll get to it more detail in a bit, but it would be a tragedy if it didn't get the audiences it deserves. So I think they're doing the right thing. Launching with 3 episodes, that's a lot to take in a day. Mark mentioned that on Making Tracks last week. It's a lot to digest and soak up. But hey, 3 episodes of Star Wars, I'm not going to complain about that on the 21st of September.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because it's obviously they're used to getting released late in the evening in America, 8 o'clock breakfast time in the UK. You're kind of dropping 2 hours of content. We're guessing at roughly 40 minutes an episode. So yeah, effectively it's a movie, but not necessarily designed to be a movie, not necessarily be designed to be released as a sort of batch of 3, though Troy Gilroy has been spoken about how they sort of made them in groups of 3 and that's something that they're pretty much going to focus on in the second series, and actually move the timeline in the second series with every 3 episodes. So potentially this could work if the collective is there to make it kind of work. I imagine they're not going to edit or change anything. It is going to live as an episodic TV series. They're not releasing it as a TV movie to kick it off. But it's an interesting choice to change it up to 3 episodes.
Yeah, you saying that just makes me think of Young Indie when they sort of edited those together into sort of mini movies. I don't think that's the plan. I suppose it gives them options in the future. Certainly with those season 2, 3 episode, year 4, year 3, year 2, year 1 stuff, there's options there, I guess, if they want to do that. But with what we're getting now, I think what I like about Andor, from what I can gather, what I've ascertained so far, is that it's 12 episodes. This is year 5. Season 2 is year 4 and 3, 2, 1 sort of thing, right, bumper to bumper with Rogue One, as Gilroy said. We're getting a lot of detail, background, history, where the galaxy is at that particular point in time. It's giving us a lot of stuff, so it's a long story. That's the thing. Book of Boba Fett struggled to fill 7 episodes. Good grief, it needed 2 episodes of The Mandalorian to pad it out, essentially. Kenobi was just right for 6. Mando's generally been in 6, if I remember, 6 episodes. So, it's there or thereabouts. So hopefully we're going to get, it's not going to rush, it's not going to race, it's going to take its time and fill things in. So I'm looking forward to this one big time.
You kind of mentioned House of the Dragon, Power of the Rings. I actually went to the shop today to pick up SFX magazine, which is like the Andor special. Didn't have it in stock. So I ended up picking up Empire and Total Film, which each issue, one went for House of the Dragon, one went for Power of the Rings, and Andor's kind of kicked to the side. So it has to be a huge factor, because getting that cover, it's critical to get mainstream coverage, because we're not the target when it comes to promotion for these kind of things, because we'll eat it up and we'll find it and we'll be watching it within seconds of it being released. It's reaching an audience that wouldn't normally watch it, and it really did surprise me how much buried it was by these other 2 shows, and it's got to be a reaction to that. I can't see it being anything else.
Yeah, and again, I think Star Wars has entered a different realm now in the sense that it's part of the streaming wars. So you've got Netflix, you've got Amazon, you've got Disney Plus, you've got Paramount doing Star Trek. It's not studios per se now, it's streamers, and they're throwing mega budgets at these things. And you think Disney, obviously it's Disney, so on the big screen they rule the big screen. No doubt with Marvel, Pixar, with their own animation and Star Wars, they've got it pretty much where they want it when they release stuff. But in the streaming realm, they're the sort of the second cousin at the moment compared to Prime and certainly to Netflix. I know Netflix is having a few wobbles, but there's a lot of competition there. So you're right, yeah. You'd want to see it hit big covers.
Yeah.
Hopefully season 2 that might be where it really nails it. If this one impresses people,
you do kind of feel that I was reading something about obviously everyone's talking about the cost of living crisis, and streaming services are one of the first bills that people are kicking. They were talking about the number of direct debits getting cancelled, and streaming services were right at the top. It feels almost like you are making a choice. Am I going to be Disney Plus? Am I going to be Amazon Prime? Am I going to be Sky TV in the UK, who carry the HBO content? You've kind of got to make a choice between one of the 3. It kind of feels like. Yeah. And Disney Plus doesn't have the added benefit. People are getting Sky TV and they're getting other channels. You're picking up 200 channels for your subscription to get. I can't remember what it's called now. It used to be Sky Atlantic. It's changed its name. I think it's Sky Premiere. I think it is now. That House of the Dragon will be on. Amazon Prime, you're getting free delivery. So they've got added benefit. Disney is that kind of that outsider where it is just focused purely on its content that it has to offer, and not being a carrier for other people's content as well. So it's a difficult one in terms of, will people subscribe to Disney Plus to tune into Andor, because it's a character that people are not necessarily familiar with.
Yeah, you make a great point, going back to something you said about how we're not the target audience per se, and we're not the target audience in that sense. You want, if Lucasfilm and Disney Plus and Disney can't impress me with Andor, then, there's a problem. And I'm predisposed to go in with an optimistic mind to want to like it. I'm not going in with a negative thing because I'm not a YouTuber trying to monetize my negativity. So I want to go in and enjoy it because that's just the way I'm wired. But if I was a non-Star Wars fan, I've got plenty of friends who are not Star Wars fans who think I'm absolutely nuts for doing all the stuff I do. If they can sit down in front of Andor and be impressed and go, yeah, I'd watch the next episode of that, then that's the hook, that's the one you want to grab. And it is a challenge for Disney Plus because, like you say, you haven't got the lure of Prime delivery. We had stuff delivered this evening. I've got a fan right here that was delivered this evening because it's roasting glass of beer. So that's a hook for Amazon straight away. It's almost like the TV's a bonus. You're right, Disney hasn't got that physical, tactile aspect like the others do.
Yeah. So I reckon it's probably a good point. We should probably move forward and check out the fact that a trailer dropped, and we can sort of bring that up on the screen as well. Scotland, obviously my home country, jumps straight away at the start of the trailer. Your kind of thoughts overall of the trailer, Mark?
I love the aesthetic of Rogue One. It felt very real, I'm waggling the air quotes, and this has got that gritty, real dirt under the fingernails feel to it, which I love. It's got an epic scope. You can see in some of the later shots, you can see the sets. That's clearly not a set, but you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of real-world sets in there. And just where we are in the storyline, just 5 years before Scarif and the Admin, it's just such a great time to set a storyline. It looks great. I don't know whether the music's from the show, whether it's temp music, but I like it. You're seeing certain elements, like some Death Troopers there. There's plenty going on. There's just so much going on. I'm stoked for this. And this trailer only dialed that up even more.
And you start catching faces as well. With so much of it being filmed in the UK, there's so many faces from British TV sort of dotted throughout as well, which is... you try and remember who they were, where you saw them last. It was kind of a lot of fun. Saw Gerrera, obviously, back there as well.
Yeah, that was a nice treat when we found out that was happening. For that storyline to be touched upon is fun. There's the guy that beats up Little Mo in EastEnders there. So there's lots of faces, like I say, but there's lots of characters that you can kind of see coming into it that are... You would imagine they'll cast forward into season 2, obviously Mothra's storyline, as you say, Saw Gerrera, to find out how he became the guy that we see in, or the Cantwell Star Destroyer, that we see in Rogue One. It's going to be fascinating. It really is.
And it's almost like a blank slate because it's a part of the Star Wars story that really hasn't been told, is that sort of foundation and birth of the rebellion. We don't know that much about Andor, despite him having been in Rogue One. Mon Mothma is kind of a little bit of an enigma as well. So they can really take this story in any direction.
They can, and it's interesting, I think, when you think, and we were saying this on Making Tracks, you look at Kenobi, for example, and a lot of what you feel that you know is basically headcanon. You've made a lot of assumptions. I say you, I mean we generally as a group, have made a lot of assumptions of what happened to that character over that time span. He just sat on his thumb for 20 years watching Luke grow and did nothing. And you find out actually it makes just as much sense for him to be doing what he did in Kenobi as not. And it doesn't really affect what you saw. It just adds layers to it. And this is kind of the same with Cassian, but more broadly with the rebellion. You sort of thinking Rebels is happening at around about this time. There's other things, and you realise, there's the separatist. There's the separatist movement, and there's the Saw Gerrera's partisan rebels, and then there's what we call the actual Rebel Alliance, and there's splinters all coming together. And it would take somebody like a Cassian and people like him to draw these all in and find them and unite them and bring them into an alliance. I think this is the forum, this is the show. You're going to actually see that alliance come together. So, super exciting.
Yeah. And I think sort of Tony Gilroy's kind of hinted at quite a lot as well, that a lot of the focus is going to be on the individuals and their story. And it's really just set against the backdrop of the rebellion and the Empire. and we're going to see a much different kind of Star Wars program in that effect, and we're going to see something very personal.
Yeah, it feels more, I was going to say grown up, that sounds a bit too on the nose, but it does feel like it's more, you're getting into the toughness and the trickiness of the
a little bit more nuanced, maybe.
Yeah. You know, it's just more substantial, I would say, is probably a fair way of saying it. So, and I think it's one that will probably stand up to repeat viewing as well. Yeah. My gut tells me.
That's kind of what we hope for, isn't it? I think that's maybe been the criticism. Maybe it specifically fell around the Boba Fett show. Certainly, people kind of felt it wasn't really repeat viewing, even if they did enjoy it. So it's a criticism that's been thrown about there. Keeping on the Andor theme, obviously Tony Gilroy's doing the press at the moment. Lots of interviews out there. We're covering them all on fantatracks.com. One of them that kind of sparked my interest was a discussion on the absence of K2SO. And we all know my hatred for droids. I speak about it often enough. K2SO I liked because he had a purpose and a story, and he had a beautiful death. Yes. How all droids should be treated in the end. Gilroy kind of mentions it's a story he's eager to tell. It's obviously not happening in season 1, so it kind of hints that it's going to happen in season 2. And he made a good observation as well, in that if you've got an Imperial droid, it's a difficult piece of luggage to carry around with you, depending on what your storyline is. And I did wonder if, when he's spoken about season 2 being set into blocks of 3, that maybe K2SO falls into one of those blocks of 3 and not the whole 12 episode series.
Yeah, again, I think it's one of those. There's a lot of similarities to Solo, I think, in the way they're telling the story, and also almost a Phantom Menace as well, because a lot of people, when Phantom came out, people were like, why are you introducing this little kid? It should start when the Clone Wars starts. And George wanted you to know the kid to understand the fall. And Cassian, you've got to understand Cassian to understand the turn into a hero and to do what he did, but a dark hero, because, you know, he takes that Tivik at the start of the film, it's quite a dark thing. With K2SO, for example, if you bring K2SO, thank you for that. If you bring K2SO into the story straight away, you've got no aces in the hole to introduce. And I know there's other characters they can bring in. You know, there's other stuff that they can do. Characters from Rogue One, General Merrick and people like that. Draven and those characters, General Dodonna. There's plenty that can come in, you would imagine will come in. But K2SO will be a big deal. That's the Han and Chewie meeting on Mimban moment, isn't it? So that'll be something to keep in the back pocket for season 2, and it should be a fun thing, because, like you say, K2SO was a great character and he had a purpose. I think I get what you're saying about droids. They're not just vacuum cleaners, you know, when they're used well, it's great. So yeah.
Another show that is coming up on the horizon, coming next year, is Ashoka, and we've been starting to hear little bits from the cast. Obviously, they're filming just now, but they're also out there promoting other shows and things that they're involved in. And the actress that portrays Sabine has been talking about her character, giving a little hint as to maybe what we're going to see in the TV show, because obviously, as she mentions herself, we know Sabine from Rebels. We've all kind of got our own sort of perceptions of what the character Sabine is. She refers to Sabine as being fearless and brave, but she has flaws. She's not perfect. She's on a journey. She makes mistakes. So it kind of hints maybe as to the kind of storyline we're going to get surrounding that character. She's maybe going to have somewhat of a tough time of it in the TV series, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Rebels, it's one of those shows I would love to go back and watch again. I haven't seen it since it finished, and it was a great show, so I would like to, especially with everything else that's going on in that timeline now. It would be a good show to sort of at least dip back in and watch some bits. And Sabine wasn't my favourite character. She did, to me, seem to think a lot of herself. But that makes for interesting drama. So I think if you've got a character that's as she says, it sounds like Love Island, on a journey. You know, a character that's on a journey, and working her way towards a destination, be it a personal destination or an actual place, the thing she's going for. It could be interesting, and again, it's another character that you're taking from an animation realm like Saw Gerrera and making them real and it adds layers because of the performance of the actors and all those elements. But I think bringing her into Ahsoka, at the end of Rebels, you see Ahsoka and Sabine together, and we're kind of thinking about the whole trying to find Ezra. Whether that becomes a main factor in Ahsoka, I don't know. I would imagine it's probably one of the plot lines, but who can tell? Maybe that's a season 2 thing for that show as well. We don't know. But I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing these characters translated into the real world.
Yeah.
Hey Phil.
And keeping the Love Island theme, next character to enter the island could be Cal Kestis. Cameron Monaghan's been talking about it. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, hugely popular. Another edition of the game coming to systems soon. He's been kind of asked a question, as he's often asked, whether he'd be interested in bringing him to the big screen. And his response, well, of course there's interest, that's all I can say, and laughs. Doesn't necessarily mean there's anything happening, but if you're an actor and you've got an opportunity for a paid gig, you can say no.
Well, that's it. I mean, he's a working actor. He's promoting a film during that interview right there. And again, I think there's voice actors that you pick for a specific role, and this is a bone of contention with people. I know a lot of people wanted Ashley to play Ahsoka, but Ashley was hired to be the voice of Ahsoka. And you get lucky with some actors, a celebrity actor, like Starbuck from Galactica, whose name's dropped out of my head, coming into the role and playing Bo-Katan, and it just turns out she's a great actress and she kind of looks like her, so that makes some sort of sense. With Cameron Monaghan, it feels to me that he was there to completely inhabit the role, and I'm certain it would have been in the back of their heads. I mean, they would have been working on that game in 2016, 2017, before really Disney Plus was a major thing, but it's got to be in their head somewhere that you never know in time he could translate, he could be the guy that moves the character on. So I think there's some logic to it. And also it's the synergy. Lucasfilm love the synergy of books and comics and TV and film and computer games and VR.
And it's so, there's a little bit of it. It brings a different audience in as well, because the gaming world's completely different from every other sort of avenue of Star Wars as well.
Yeah. And huge budgets, I mean, crazy budgets they spend on these things, comparable to movie budgets, and they make hundreds of millions. And like I say, it's a part of the Star Wars, I mean, it's like Old Republic, still massively popular. It's free to play now, but still massively popular, and just insane amounts of people are playing it and just completely invested in it, deep dive invested in it, in a way that we skim the surface as we're covering as much news as we can, and we know a little bit about it, but they're like right in the weeds, and that's just one faction of Star Wars. If you can fold just a percentage of that into the whole, you're onto a winner, so they'd be crazy not to, really.
And we go from one person that wouldn't mind being in live action Star Wars to someone that really doesn't want to be. Taron Egerton, I always say his name wrong, but we'll go with that. Spoke about the audition process for playing Han Solo in Solo: A Star Wars Story. He was part of that. It's been rumoured and sort of discussed in the past that he was under consideration, and he talked about getting through the rounds, and he kind of got invited to come back for another round, and turned it down. Wasn't going to be for him. He'd kind of sat in the seat, dressed up as Solo, sat next to Chewie. So obviously, he'd gone far in the process, because they were got to the point where they're putting him in a position in a script on a set. That's not the first kind of few steps in the audition process. So he was a contender, and he walked away from it, which I imagine not many people would come out and say that, and he kind of basically says that himself as well, that nobody talks about it's almost taboo to talk about the jobs that weren't.
Yeah, true. I mean, he is a cracking actor. I really like Taron Egerton. I can't imagine the guy that played Eddie the Eagle playing Han Solo, but there you go. Or Elton John. I think he'd be a great chap to play Wolverine, which is what people seem to think at the moment. But I think with him as Solo, I can't see it. And my gut tells me that he would look in the mirror and go, I can't see it either. But why wouldn't you go for it? So there's a little element of disingenuous in what he's saying. because I don't honestly think he was ever or would have ever been right at the top of their list. That being said, who knows? We never saw it. And the interest in this article, by the way, on Fantatrax has been crazy. We posted that earlier in the week, and it's been one of our top articles all week. So people have clearly connected with, just the idea of that. And he is a popular actor, so I'm not disrespecting him as an actor at all. I just can't see him as and the line about nobody would want to follow Harrison Ford. That's the line that felt like a little bit of a dig to me.
Yeah.
Not quite sure of the politics there, but yeah.
Sometimes you wonder if people step away from a role because they know they're not going to get it. And Mark, you frozen? Right
I
there,
think so. That feels like.
There we go. You're almost back. Yeah, there we go. You froze there just as you were drinking the water. It was almost like a brand sponsorship.
There you go.
But it almost feels like sometimes people walk away from a role because they know that they're not going to get it or they're not right for the role. And you kind of wonder if that was the case here, that, he's spoken to his agent and thought, this isn't for me, not sure they like me, but I'm getting through the process, do a walk. You kind of wonder if that decision was made, because nothing worse for an actor than to take a role that he thinks he's going to bomb in.
Well, so I suppose if you think about it, the casting process for Solo would have been around about 2016, I would say, there or thereabouts. Force Awakens has just come out, Rogue One's not come out, so you've got the third biggest movie in the world at this point. So you wouldn't want to walk away from going into that arena. But I think you're probably right. I think somebody somewhere went, this ain't the one for you, kid.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you want to dress up like Han Solo and sit next to Chewie in the cockpit? You would, wouldn't you?
There you go. Once you've done that, don't need to do anything else, do you? Moving on to our last story this week. Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation is out on Disney+. The latest in the series of Lego specials that have come to the platform, and all sorts of fantastic actors in there. Anthony Daniels wouldn't be the same if he wasn't in there. Billy D. Williams, Kelly Marie Tran, among the returning cast members in there. And we've had all sorts of fun little videos come out, and we can check one out as we speak as well, that have come out in the past week promoting it. One, Luke up to no good on Tatooine, and it's just got that sense of humour that the shows, for the people that have seen it, it just delivers.
It does. They're so much fun. And we were fortunate enough to interview the director and the writer this week on the show, on an episode of Making Tracks and Fantatrax TV. And both just hugely enjoyable to talk to. Both love this stuff and are steeped in it. But the phrase that they used, and it's one of Mark Mulcaster's favourite phrases, was canon adjacent, which I very much like. This is definitely Star Wars. It's obviously not canon Star Wars, but there's enough about it that it still completely evokes, what we love about Star Wars. And there's some really sweet moments in this particular special on Disney Plus. It's really nicely played. There's some just really genuinely touching moments at the end. So for what they've done, and I hope they do more, they do say that there's nothing planned at them. I really hope in the future that it's just, I love it. I keep them coming. I love them.
Paul Naylor there, not a fan. Almost as good as The Last Jedi. Not for him, which I guess it's going to be. It has that quirky sense of humour. It's not going to be for everybody, but for me, a lot of fun, and something that Star Wars needs. And I was a fan of what we've seen as Star Wars Detours, and it pains me that wasn't released, and especially when you consider that's George Lucas's sort of final Star Wars work that we could have seen, and that people need to get the idea. It's a bit of fun. Can have a bit of fun with Star Wars.
Yeah. If George was ready to have a bit of fun with Star Wars, I don't see why anybody else shouldn't. As long as it's done well, Family Guy did it pretty well. Robot Chicken did it really well. Different little IPs have had fun with it and done good things with it. But I've got to say, I think Lego Star Wars has nailed it the best. you know, and the fact that you can go and buy the toys after if you like doesn't hurt. But this one was really good. They were all good. I really enjoyed Holiday Special. Pretty much enjoyed Terrifying Tales, but this one is probably my favourite of the three. So they stuck the landing on this one.
And if people head to youtube.com/Fantha TV, they can check out an interview with the writer and director of it, which you conducted.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I've spoken to the two of them, I think, for all three of the Disney Plus specials. We did have a good chat. I even pitched an idea for a fourth one, so if that ever happens, just remember I came up with the idea of Wacky Races. But it was they were great. They were good fun. It was a nice interview, and it's nice of them to give us their time.
Yeah. And talking of time, Mark, I think that's us for this week. It's been a pleasure having you on the show as always. What can people check out next week on Fantha Tracks?
On Fantha Tracks, loads and loads and loads of news as always. But from Fantha Tracks Radio, Tuesday it's episode 146 of Making Tracks. On Friday it's episode 62, I believe, of Fantha from Down Under. And we're working away on more stuff. We've got Start Your Engines coming very, very soon with me and Mr. Naylor. And there's a Planet Layer on its way soon, and a collecting tracks with Richard Hutchinson. So lots to listen to. But stay tuned to the site and stick to the socials. There's different content on the socials as there is to the site. So there's loads going on Fantha Tracks.
Pleasure having you on as always, and we'll be back next Sunday for more. Good morning, Tatooine. Thanks, everyone.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at Fantha Tracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow Fantha Tracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.